welcome to HITC Sport. Alright, I didn't think it was possible that anyone could have had a more embarrassing performance than me last night. Do you know how it feels to not even be able to satisfy your own pillow? But lads, I think Manchester United might have done it. I am going to talk on their defeat to RB Leipzig later in the video, but for now, Mino Raiola needs to shut his mouth, and not just because he looks like someone who begins every day by eating an entire birthday cake for breakfast. Nah, keep eating like that, Mino, and doctors will probably have to take your foot. But also, Raiola should keep his mouth shut in relation to anything concerning the affairs of Manchester United. For those of you who don't know this guy, he's football's big super agent, a guy representing some of the biggest footballing names on the planet, with Erling Haaland, Matthijs de Ligt and Paul Pogba in his phone book. To look at this guy, you'd think there was only one number in his phone book, and that was the one for Uber Eats. This guy looks like Tony Soprano if Tony Soprano spent a week living inside Pizza Hut without access to a shower. This fella's apparently worth £50 million. I'm sorry, but he looks like someone who'd wait 6 hours in the queue at Comic-Con to get a sniff of Wonder Woman's hair. Why is this man responsible for controlling the career of Paul Pogba when he clearly can't control how many jammy donuts he eats in one go? This man looks so addicted to chocolate, even his name Mino Raiola actually sounds like mini rolls. Here's what he said about Pogba this week, on the eve of a crucial Champions League match, which they ended up losing.
Paul is unhappy at Man United. He can't manage to express himself like he wants to and like people expect him to. He needs to change the team. He needs to change the scenery. He has a contract that will expire in a year and a half in the summer of 2022, but the best solution for all parties is a transfer in the next window.
The way Raiola speaks about Manchester United, it's like he's describing a Vietnamese prison camp. Are we forgetting this is a club who paid a world record £90 million for your client, of which you apparently pocketed £25 million yourself? And when you subsequently went out and spent £9 million of that to move into Al Capone's Miami home, ergo, Manchester United paid for your house. The absolute disrespect. When you disrespect Manchester United, you disrespect the fans. The reason the club are in a place where they can afford to chuck a £90 million transfer to bring back a player they let go for free, it's down to the size of the club, which is down to the size of the fan base. The ones who bought over 1 million shirts with this guy's name on the back. Christ above, is there really 1 million United shirts with Paul Pogba's name on the back? Please, if you're one of those people who own a jersey like that, then please tell me, what do you use it for? Do you just use it to pick up cat shit on your lawn? Do you use it as something to scrub the inside of the toilet? Or do you just let your dog use it as his piss rug? Because clearly, there's nobody out there that proudly wears a United shirt with Pogba's name on the back. Surely not. Christ above, even his brother would probably have second thoughts. Not after these comments, where his agent is doing everything in his power to prize away your most valuable asset. Lads, he is trying to move heaven and earth to tear you two apart, to break up this supposed power couple. Good cry, I mean, you don't see Jennifer Aniston walking around with a perfume made by Angelina Jolie, now do you? Christ, that's a really dated reference. But lad, Raiola is like an unstoppable speaking machine. He's even had digs in the past to Paul Scholes.
Some people need to talk for fear of being forgotten. Paul Scholes wouldn't recognize a leader if he stood in front of Sir Winston Churchill.
Does Raiola not recognize the irony of this statement? Some people need to talk for fear of being forgotten. Yeah, Mino, you are a football agent. We shouldn't have a clue who you are. Saying Scholes only talks to remain relevant when he's literally hired to be a pundit on TV. It's a bit like I'm Alex complaining that Gary Lineker talks too much football on the telly. As for Scholes apparently not recognizing a leader, are we just forgetting he sat next to Roy Keane in midfield for 11 goddamn years? And Roy Keane, by the way, who has more leadership qualities in his left nipple than your client does in his entire being. And what would Raiola even know about leadership? He's not even disciplined enough to keep his face out of the fridge. We see statistical breakdowns of Paul Pogba's career. I'd love to see one of Mino Raiola's life, because I'm pretty sure he's probably spent about 30% of it with his face stuffed in a tube of Pringles. Listen, the reason Sir Alex Ferguson allowed Pogba to walk back in 2012 was because he couldn't bother dealing with his agent. A guy so high maintenance, he probably has a Gucci handbag for every day of the week. Here's a quote from Sir Alex Ferguson in 2012.
Pogba signed for Juventus a long time ago as far as we're aware, which is disappointing. I don't think he showed us any respect at all, so to be honest, I'm quite happy.
Here we are 8 years later and the same thing. Pogba is flirting with Juventus, the agent again showing no respect in public. What did Man United expect when they brought him back? It's like if Tiger Woods' ex-wife decides to give their marriage another go all these years later, then she can't be too surprised when she catches him downloading Tinder in his car. In April 2018, on the eve of the Manchester derby, news came out that both Pogba and Mkhitaryan had been offered by Raiola to Pep Guardiola in January. Bit weird considering Raiola said this about Pep in the past.
Pep the coach is fantastic. As a player, he's an absolute zero. He's a coward, a dog. I think Cruyff and Guardiola can go to a mental hospital together, shut up, sit there, and play cards together. They would do football in Barcelona a great service. I went for him that night in the corridors at Wembley. Only Adriano Galliani, AC Milan's chairman, stopped me. Lucky for Guardiola.
Lucky for Guardiola. I'm sorry, are we supposed to be impressed by this? This is like that fat guy in the office who threatens to beat up the boss. Apparently he was stopped by Galliani. Tell the truth, Raiola. You were probably just distracted by spotting a half-eaten bag of Maltesers in the bin. Anyway, after all this smack talk about Pep, why would you then offer him your most prized client? You don't see Conor McGregor ringing up Khabib and asking him to babysit his son, probably because he knows he drowned him in the sink. That was incredibly dark. Anyway, Pogba responds to this disruptive information with this on the eve of Manchester derby, not with outrage, but with this annoyingly vague tweet. Say what? Christ, can you imagine if I came out and said that my boss likes to dress in ladies' underwear and eats his dinner out of his cat's arse crack? Do you really think my boss would take to Twitter with a vague, passive-aggressive say what? No, he'd probably punch me in the teeth and contact his lawyers. July 2019.
Everyone knows the willingness of Paul to move on. We are in the process of that. Everyone knows what the feelings of Paul are.
This was 18 months ago, and Pogba, has he cleared up these comments? No, nothing, just a wall of silence. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, fair play to him. He has fought back in the media, stating that Paul is our player, not Minos. Oh dear, Ole. Oh dear. You might as well have called Raiola's wife a cross-dressing horse. You might as well have come out and said you peeked on Raiola in a public urinal and noticed that he has a knob the size of a custard cream. Because clearly he took massive offense to this. Taken to the internet, not to scribble a 6-word tweet, but Christ above, almost an entire short novel.
Paul is not mine, and for sure not Solskjaer's property. Paul is Paul Pogba's. You cannot own a human being already for a long time in the UK or anywhere else. I hope Solskjaer do not want to suggest that Paul is his prisoner.
You wrote that last bit in capitals. So you know that's what he was really into his stride. Probably as he was knocking back the 4th glass of wine. Now obviously, we should probably take what Raiola says with a pinch of salt. This guy is the least impartial and most biased person I've ever heard. For example, because he represents Mario Balotelli and Klopp didn't fancy the Italian striker at Liverpool, Raiola then claimed that Klopp wasn't a good tactician and a piece of human being. Why? Because he didn't want to use a lazy striker who scored 1 goal all season? That's like offering someone a bag of pig kidneys and complaining when they say no. In terms of the price tag, in terms of the heightened expectation in 2016 and ball of hype, Pogba has to be the biggest flop in the history of the sport. I hear people say,
oh, Pogba's been a good signing.
What? Let's be clear. He was a £90 million signing in 2016. The most expensive player in the history of football, costing 3 times that sum of what Chelsea paid for N'Golo Kante. For the price of Pogba that year, you could have signed Kante, Sadio Mane and Leroy Sané. This guy is a box-to-box midfielder. He should have been to Manchester United, what Steven Gerrard was to Liverpool, or what Frank Lampard was to Chelsea, or even what Roy Keane was to Man United when he arrived from Nottingham Forest for a British record fee. This was the most hyped transfer in the history of Manchester United Football Club. The only deal that would have rivaled this one in terms of the same level of excitement that it caused amongst the fans, maybe Wayne Rooney in 2004, but that is it. Can you name me another one? Hashtag Pogback. Alright everyone, let's step back into the world of 2016. Right, let's go. Everyone get a load of that Pokemon Go? Been hearing a lot of it. Looks pretty neat. I've got 2 tickets to the Batman vs Superman premiere. Does anyone want to come? I've heard good things. I mean, Jesse Eisenberg cast as a villain. What could go wrong? Anyone see that viral Facebook video about that 12-year-old boy who's pretending to be Stormzy? I guess it's kind of funny. Right, I think I've ticked off every culturally relevant reference in 2016. Now let's roll the Pogba clips.
Paul Pogba is a mind-blowingly good footballer. Don't know all this rubbish about Pogba is not worth 100 million. He's worth 100 million. We should pay even more because Pogba's quality.
He's one of the biggest, strongest players you'll ever see in midfield. He's what we've needed since Roy Keane's gone.
Underrated. I think he's the best midfielder in the world. He'll win the Ballon d'Or. Not this year, next year.
Just hold on 1 second. Next year, what's that? 2017? Right, let's see who won the Ballon d'Or in 2017. He didn't make the shortlist. That's awkward.
So future Ballon d'Or winner?
It's going to be absolutely ace. I can't wait to see him back in the United shirt, and he will bring us back to the top with Mourinho.
Just a proud moment to be a part of history in the making. Wow, it actually happened in the middle of the night. How am I supposed to get to sleep now? Let's go win the league. Pogba comes across as a very intelligent, focused man. Have full confidence he will bring us back to greatness. Weird comparison a couple of pages ago between Modric and Pogba. The Pog is definitely more comparable to Lampard or prime Yaya Toure.
Lampard and Yaya Toure scored a combined 209 Premier League goals. Pogba has 26. 7 of which were penalties. Manchester United fans were dreaming of a return to the title. So imagine being told back then that Pogba's legacy at the club would extend to 6th, 2nd, 6th and 3rd. Not a single Premier League title in there, while Liverpool, a team who back in 2016 had just finished 8th in the league, below Southampton and West Ham, even they've gone on to win the league in that time frame. Okay, right, their domestic record, that was clearly a pile of wet pudding, but what about the European form? Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, they were embarrassed to spend Pogba's first season in the Europa League, but winning that trophy in May it catapulted them back into the Champions League, with United fans delighted they would never have to put up with Thursday night football ever again. Right, since then it's been a Champions League round of 16 exit to Sevilla, a Champions League quarter-final exit against Barcelona, another season of Europa League football after that, before finally going out in the group stage of the Champions League, finishing behind a football club that were founded 8 days before Cristiano Ronaldo's last game for Manchester United. In the length of time Ronaldo has been gone from Old Trafford, apparently that's now enough time to be able to build a football club capable of dumping Manchester United out of the Champions League. What next? Chelsea be knocked out of European football in 5 years' time by #United? Manchester United are arguably one of the biggest footballing institutions on the planet, while RB Leipzig are literally 11 years old. This is like Floyd Mayweather being sparked out by Jacob Tremblay. So Manchester United fans, stop trying to convince yourself that Pogba will come good. Face the facts. You shouldn't have chucked a world record transfer fee at someone who'd already ditched you 4 years earlier. Cut your losses, get rid. Paul Pogba, just get him out. Trust me, you'll be better off without him moping about the park. But as for that Champions League exit, how has this managed to happen? After the first 2 Champions League match days, you'd won in Paris and smashed, utterly flattened RB Leipzig 5-0 at home. All you needed was a draw away from home against RB Leipzig, a good, solid Bundesliga team. But they're clearly not that good, or Marcus Rashford wouldn't have been able to come off the bench with just 27 minutes left to play and still manage to bang in a hat-trick while he's half asleep, just mere hours after campaigning against the government. That happened just 3 weeks ago. Leipzig have a former Hereford United keeper in nets. Good Christ, he was behind Brad Jones in the Anfield pecking order. Angelino fires home after 4 minutes. He's a Manchester City flop. Justin Kluivert kills you off in the second half. If you're being knocked out of the Champions League just because Patrick Kluivert chose not to make love into a tissue 20 years ago, then that's not good enough. I've said this 1,000 times. I have soaked my body in calcium on Christmas Day for this. But I don't care, I will say it again. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to go. And I'm sorry, but when the likes of Allegri and Pochettino are free on the couch at home, how have you not made a move? Right, that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and thank you for voting in the Football Content Awards. Absolute legends, lads. Trust me, I really do appreciate it. And I think it's a bit mental. When I first started this channel with James back in 2016, both Arsenal Fan TV and Football Daily were global phenomenons. And to think, 4 years later, with your help, I've actually pipped both to an award? It's ridiculous. But yeah, thank you, lads. Trust me. Very much appreciated. Anyway, yeah, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.